Hi, welcome back to the Kettle and Cord food demo videos. Today I'm going to be showing you a delicious melt in your mouth, no fail brisket. The challenge with the Pesach recipes, as you know, is that we really don't have a lot of ingredients to use. So we're really going to try to maximize what we have to get the full flavor out of it. I'm going to be using a second cut brisket today. The second cut means that it has more fat in it, and as you can see here, it's really nicely marbled, and the fat itself is going to add a lot of flavor to the meat. We're going to start with some kosher salt, about 1 or 2 tablespoons, and really sprinkle it very liberally all over both sides. Flip it over. Look at that fat. Now, I get really excited about fat because I love fat. But if you don't like fat and you usually trim it, I would suggest you keep the fat on this time because it's gonna definitely add a ton of flavor and it's going to keep the meat really soft and melt in your mouth. And now we're going to sear it. So we're going to take 2 tablespoons of oil, get a nice high flame going, and when that's nice and hot, you're gonna grab your meat and get that in there. Get all the sides nice and brown. Give it a great sear. I love this pot. This is a new pot that we got into Kettle and Cord. It's the Starfrit pot. It is non-stick, but scratch-free. If you look inside, the whole inside is this stone material, and it doesn't have that black lining that scratches. That's really unhealthy for you. It distributes heat amazingly. I'm gonna show you the sear that I have in a minute. It's dishwasher safe, it's phenomenal. It's also really, really light, which is incredible for such a large pot. Here we go, we're getting a gorgeous sear here, and it's beginning to smell amazing. I'm gonna keep it for 1 more minute on in here. Now, the reason why I'm using the tongs is because I don't want to pierce the meat. If I'm going to pierce the meat, I'm going to lose all that juice that I want to stay inside to keep the meat nice and juicy. This is just about ready to be flipped. We have a nice sear going on here. Beautiful. I'm searing the meat right now before I put in the vegetables because I really want to lock in all the juices and flavor. And remove the meat from the pot. Look at that nice sear that we have there. And we're gonna add the vegetables into the oil that the meat just cooked. So we have some great flavor going on here. This is about 2 to 3 large onions, and they're gonna get nice and caramelized. We're gonna add about 2 to 3 shallots. I really, really, really miss using garlic on Pesach. It's probably one of the hardest things for me to give up, even more than cake. I just use garlic in everything. So the shallots, even though they're in the onion family, have a little bit more of that garlicky flavor. So it's gonna give a little bit of the garlic flavor to the meat. This is gonna cook for about, I would say, close to 10 minutes. You really want the onions to caramelize really nicely, and you wanna give it that time. Release its flavor. So after about 7 to 10 minutes, this is what your onions should look like. They really have a beautiful golden, translucent color. It smells incredible. You want to keep stirring throughout the whole time that you're letting the onions saute. And we're gonna add 2-3 chopped carrots. Just stir that in, and 3 to 4 tomatoes. These tomatoes have been peeled. We have an excellent peeler at Kettle and Cord for tomatoes. Usually in my regular brisket, I put tomato sauce. So if you're making a Pesach tomato sauce, definitely swap out about half a cup of tomato sauce. But if not, 3 to 4 pretty overripe tomatoes will do the trick. And you want to really mash them in there. Let them release their juices. After about 3-4 minutes, you'll see the tomatoes are really breaking down in here, and they're kind of getting all the onions and carrots and shallots. All the flavors are melding together. This really looks beautiful and smells amazing. I'm gonna grab my tongs and just lay the brisket right on top. Right there. we're gonna add a nice red wine. I have a Merlot here. We're gonna add about a cup and a half. If you're doing a much larger brisket, you can add 2.5 cups. So now we're gonna let the meat cook for about 3 hours on a nice slow braise. Now in order for the meat to be nice and juicy, you need it fully submerged in liquid. And I don't wanna just add water, it's gonna dilute the flavor. So before I started cooking anything in my Pesach kitchen, I make a huge pot of chicken stock. Throw in some chicken bottoms, some turkey necks, and all the root vegetables, turnips, parsnip, kohlrabi, carrots, celery root, all of that, and let it cook a good 12, 14, 16 hours, and you're gonna have this beautiful golden chicken broth. Instead of using water, we're just gonna cover the rest of the meat with the broth. I'm gonna keep the flame on high until I see a few little bubbles, and then I'm going to lower it down to a really, the lowest flame possible. Oh wow, this looks delicious. We're gonna cover the pot, lower the flame, and just let it cook for about 3 hours on a very low simmer. So for our side dish, we're gonna try something a little different. We're sick and tired. Potatoes for breakfast, potatoes for lunch, potatoes for supper, potatoes for dessert. You fry them, you slice them, you saute them, you deep fry them, but after a while you really just get sick of them. So we're going to roast some root vegetables. Now, the root vegetables are a little tougher to slice, and also I'd like to just pop them in my oven on one temperature for the same amount of time. And if you get nice, even slices for all the vegetables, you're going to just be able to stick it in the oven and forget about it and not think, oh, I have to take the beets out now and the butternut squash at a different time. So we're gonna use a mandolin for this. Now this is a great product. This is going to make your slicing, dicing, if you want to make sticks, if you want to make julienne vegetables, this product can do all of it. So what we have over here is different settings. Right now I'm on the slicing setting, and then the blade is gonna move up and down in different heights. And what's great about this is that you do not hurt yourself. I don't know if you see my Pesach hands, but I think I have 3 cuts and 1 burn, and we're only 1 week into Pesach prep. So we have this excellent guard over here, and it's just gonna make sure that you don't slice off any fingernails or skin. I'm gonna start with the sweet potatoes, and I'm just going to give a nice little push down. Bring it back up again. And there you go. You have nice few, beautiful, evenly sliced sweet potatoes. Let's try that with the beets. I put on a glove to use the beets so that we're not gonna get all purple, especially if you don't wanna ruin your manicure, which I don't have because I didn't have time to get one yet this year. I think we're gonna leave it for last day before Pesach, so I don't have time to kill it before the actual Seder. There we go, nice and easy, beautiful slices that are just gonna roast up and caramelize a little bit. So now you just need a lined baking sheet, and we're just going to lay them down. This is my nice butternut squash, some of the sweet potatoes. What I love about this recipe is that you're going to have all these beautiful colors on your plates. You can throw in some turnips and add some white. That's really gonna look great. And it's also just a lot healthier than doing your regular, typical potato, sweet potato. And now all you're gonna do is drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the veggies. You really can go very, very minimal with the olive oil. You don't need to get too much on there. And you can also use whatever oil you use. So if you only use chicken fat, you can use that. Grapeseed oil, avocado oil, whatever oil you're using. And again, some kosher salt. And we're gonna pop these in the oven on 425 for about 30 to 40 minutes. It depends. If you like them a little mushier, you can take them out at 30 minutes. If you want that nice, crispy, roasted look, keep them in for about 40, 45 minutes, and you'll have some yummy, delicious vegetable chips to put next to your brisket. Okay, so my meat is fully cooked and cooled. Now you want to let it cool for a good 12 hours before you slice it if you want to get some nice thin slices. I'm really excited because these Victorinox chef's knives just came into Kettle & Cord, and I've always loved using the Victorinox knives, but they were so small and you couldn't cut a nice piece of meat. But now you have that sharp Victorinox knife and a really long blade, so it's going to be really nice to slice the meat, and you're going to get some really nice thin slices here. And look how easy it just slides right through. The meat is nice and soft and tender. If you look at that marbling, really beautiful. This is gonna be so delicious. So here we have our finished plate. I just took the roasted root vegetables, stacked them together, and stuck a skewer through it. I find that if you stick a skewer through food, you'll have much more of a chance that your kids will eat it because it's much more exciting to eat it. And the brisket, which came out really succulent and soft and smells amazing. And we have a beautiful Yentif main and side right here. That's it for us today. Thanks so much for joining us here. We would love to hear your comments and suggestions for future videos. Please like, share, and follow us, and have a wonderful Kosher and Pesach.